Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Well, the last couple of weeks have taught me a couple of things that I never really considered. Now, having been on YouTube now for 4 years, and we talk a lot about money and games and investments and stuff like that. My channel is very, very, very tiny, and I make no money on this. I do it for the love of doing it. So I've never really had to give any thought to, on purpose I guess, the morality of what we do. And let me tell you right up front, this is about the bankruptcy of FTX. Now, I watch, or used to watch, a lot of millennial money shows because I wanted to see how the young people were thinking. And I narrowed it down to 3 or 4 different guys. I was watching Graham Stephan, Andrew Jick, Jeremy, and Meet Kevin. And then there was some other ones in there that I had, there was Investing with Rose, and she kind of went off the rails, and Margarita Yang, and she kind of went off the rails. But for the most part, I was trying to keep track of what they were doing. Now, part of making money on YouTube, other than from AdSense, which is through YouTube, is through sponsorships. You know, like, and the content creator will tell, you know, hit the link below, and every time you do that and you do something, the content creator benefits, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of like a newspaper, you know. Every time an advertiser puts an ad in the paper and you go buy their thing, the newspaper makes money, the company makes money, and you get your thing. Well, it's the same on the internet, and I never really had a problem with that. And I will tell you one thing I did have a problem with. Some of those guys are making millions of dollars a year just on the AdSense from YouTube. As an example, Graham Stephan, I don't know about this year, but last year made $5 million just on AdSense from YouTube. I mean, a video a day for a year and I'll pay you $5 million, that seems like a lot of money. And then he went through a phase last year and this year getting as many sponsors and as he could, trying to raise as much cash as he can. Now again, I do not fault the guy for wanting to make money. Then FTX happens. Now it just so happens that I was watching all these shows. There was Millennial Money, the Iced Coffee Hour, Graham Stephan's, both of his channels, Andrew Jick's channel, Meet Kevin, and Jeremy, Financial Education. I was watching all their channels. And FTX was passing out money hand over fist to financial people on the internet to push their trading platform. Now, for those of you that don't know, the FTX trading platform was for cryptocurrencies, and again, I remember the discussions they were having because FTX was telling everybody that if you put your crypto with them or your cash and just sit it there, you'll make 6%. on your money. And this is back when the savings rate was 0.005%. And they were promising 6% if you would just park it there. And of course all of the, everybody jumped on board. They were paying influencers lots of money. I think Graham Stephan made somewhere around $1 million this year from FTX. But one of the discussions they were having, and I can't remember who kept raising the issue. I think it was Graham Stephan. Now, whether he meant it or not, he kept asking the question, how can they pay 6% interest when everything else is paying 2 and 3% interest? That doesn't make sense. And I think it was Andrew Jick that jumped in and said, but if you're investing in crypto and crypto is making 15 to 20%, paying 6% to get some cash is not a big deal. To which that made sense at the time because crypto was going crazy, you know? They were setting records and Dogecoin was going to the moon, and so, you know, the critics were not giving as much criticism as they should have and could have. So meanwhile, the influencers are pushing FTX. People are putting their money over there to the tunes of millions and billions of dollars. And the owner of that company continues to pay and everything. But here we are down the road, and I'll tell you one of the things that really caught my attention. I've been doing a series on Graham Stephan wanting to become the Grand Poobah on finance channels on YouTube, and I've been keeping very close track, and he was doing everything that I said he was until this year. And midway through this year, he accelerated a lot. I mean, he completely stopped Millennial Money, one of his shows. He cut back production on his second channel. His girlfriend cut back on her production by almost 50%. Andrew Jick dropped back quite a bit from doing usually 2 a week to 1 a week or 1 every 2 weeks. Meet Kevin dropped his down. The only one that didn't change was Jeremy, and I think he did cut back a little bit because he was doing 2 or 3 a day. I think he's down to 1.5, maybe 2 a day. But my point is, that whole crew had dropped their production way, way down. And the whole time it was happening, I was thinking, this feels like somebody is behind the scenes pulling the strings. And I wonder if Graham is getting all of his buds to cut production so he can go in there and try to work a deal with YouTube to try to make more money. And that's pretty much what I had decided had happened. Okay, so current events happen, blah, blah, blah. So the other day I'm watching just some guy on the internet, an attorney, by the way, little Chinese guy. I think he was Chinese, Oriental at the very least. But anyway, and I was half listening to him, and I went back and listened very closely when I figured out what he was talking about. And he was saying that those finance guys were all phonies. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And he started talking about FTX and how these guys were pushing a loser. It was a pump and dump. And I was like, wow, that's really kind of harsh, dude. You know, and in my mind I kept thinking, okay, well, let's talk about Macy, Graham Stephan's girlfriend, fiance. And she does a little, a girly thing on the internet. Quite entertaining. But it's a little girly show. What if she was pushing Maybelline eye makeup and they were paying her $50,000 a year and Maybelline went out of business? Would we hold her accountable? Well, no. I mean, how can you hold an individual responsible for a company going out of business like that? But this attorney's point of view was this. He said, we're talking about the finance segment of YouTube. And with people's money comes a little bit more responsibility than with your average YouTube channel. He said, right now those guys make the highest per show. P.B.M is what they call it. I don't know what that means. Than just about any other segment on YouTube. And I thought, well, I wonder why that is. Well, because it's very important and people take their money very, very seriously. So if Warren Buffett come on and said, buy Bank of America, and then Bank of America goes bankrupt and he walks away with a lot of money, you're going to raise your eyebrows. So FTX comes along, Graham Stephan and the other three jump on and say, hey, put all your money in FTX, they're a great company, and hit the link below. So all the people that watch Graham Stephan and that are into crypto go over, put their money in FTX, get a free $50 or whatever it is, and Graham Stephan makes $50 and FTX gets their money. And then over time, people keep putting their money in there, buying more and more and more. Well, at some point, FTX files bankruptcy. And who walked away with the money? The influencers. Now, you might say that you're sorry if you're Graham Stephan, but if you're really sorry, tell me how much you made the last year from FTX, and then write a check for that amount and donate it to some of the people that lost money with FTX. I would say you're sorry. But I watched that little attorney a few weeks later, and according to him, I have not verified this, but according to him, whoever the admin is for Millennial Money has gone through and deleted all their programs. And he says, as an attorney, that is terrible, because if the shows would stay there, we could go through now and see what each one was saying about it, even in, just in passing. What their attitude was, what they were arguing about, how much they made, how long they'd been doing it, what they knew about it, what they didn't know about it. But now they can't do any of it because it's all been erased. And that's when my eyebrows started to raise. You don't erase stuff unless you have something to hide. And Graham Stephan is erasing Millennial Money. That was a profitable show. First off, just to quit like that, that was a very profitable show. They were doing very, very well. And they just stopped. And now they're erasing and deleting. Okay, that spells guilt in my mind. But I still couldn't decide on a moral level how I feel about influencers on YouTube. And I thought about it and thought about it, and I kept thinking, I'm applying my viewpoint to something that most people are millennials or Gen Zers are watching. So I went to work. And I asked one of the guys there, I said, listen, you are a millennial. And I spelled it all out for him, and he knows nothing about any of these guys. And he didn't miss a beat. He said, absolutely. He said, if they were, and he told me this, he says, if that guy was taking money from FTX to push it, and the thing goes out of business, you absolutely hold him responsible. Because one of two things happened. Either he knew about it and still took the money, or he didn't know about it, what was going on internally, and took the money and still pushed it to his people, not knowing what was going on. So either way, he's wrong. Either he knew it and took the money, or he didn't know it and should have known it. And when he broke it down like that, I was like, you're right. That is absolutely right. So as of today, I am done watching those guys, and I'm sad to say it. I find them very entertaining. I find their show content very good. I'm just sad that they put money ahead of content, which I guess if the show was all about money, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I still am. So anyway, believe it or not, I had a moral problem with YouTube influencers. Even though we know it's not all real, even though we know it's for entertainment purposes, even though we know all of that to be true, they're influencers and are called influencers for a reason. Let's start holding them accountable. You have a great day, a great week, and happy investing.